Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to another episode of the Business Breakthrough with Barbara show. I am so excited to be here as always. We have a really juicy and exciting topic today. I think every week my topics get better and better, and you guys make better and better choices. We are going to talk about how to convince potential clients to hire you over other coaches. I'm sure you have probably had the experience of someone hops on a discovery call or someone has interest in your program and then they either end up signing up with someone else and then that feeling is just so frustrating, or they tell you that they need to interview a whole bunch of other coaches and they're still like coach shopping at that point, and then you're over here like, but like, what do I need to do to convince you to work with me? Right? Very frustrating experience. I feel like most people have had that experience. Hello and welcome. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Hold on. I can't see. I literally can't see your name. I'm moving something around so I could see who is saying hello. Okay, I see Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. Good morning. And I see Stormy. Hey, Stormy, you finally made it. It has been forever. We have missed you over here. We have totally missed you. Um, okay, so yeah, it's a frustrating experience. I feel like everyone has had that experience, and I feel like that's, something that happens in our industry and in our world, and it's not something that's talked about enough, which is the idea that people are going to be confused or they are going to be searching for multiple different coaches, and then we need to figure out how do we make them pick us over someone else. Per usual, as usual, I don't have very quote unquote normal advice here. I'm not going to say what most people would say here. And I'm going to say something that's either going to make you roll your eyes at me or it's going to make you be like, oh my God, that makes total sense. I can't believe I didn't think of that before. Okay. So bear with me if you roll my eyes at it when I start teaching you this. Give it until the end because I really have a ton of insight and I have so much to say based on so many years of experience in this industry, based on coaching so many clients. Like, I truly deeply do believe that what I'm about to teach you is spot on true, and it's going to change your perspective of competition and clients hiring other coaches or clients hiring you and what you can do around improving that process. Okay. Now, if you are new to this world, welcome. My name is Barbara Iuliano, and I am a business and confidence coach for coaches. I help you guys get started, grow your business, scale your business, make money, get clients, and make a beautiful impact in the world, all through my unique framework of strategy, confidence, and intuition. I am also the lovely host of this lovely community made up of members just like you. And this is the Business Breakthrough with Purpose show that we host every single Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, where I teach you all of the things and the tools and the topics that you will need in order to massively scale your business and bring it to a consistent, profitable level. Yeah. Um, Set your reminders for Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern because being here live is the best experience, although you can always watch the replay. Um, with that said, now that we got the intro out of the way, let's get started. So, the first thing and the most important thing that I have to say around convincing other clients to hire you over other coaches is that we don't. Our job is not to convince someone else to hire you over you. And there's so many reasons why I believe in this. Number one, I believe that in order to have a good coaching relationship and in order for your clients to see results, that client and you need to have a really high level of trust and rapport, right? So I always like to think about it in the sense of if there is truly someone that will be a better fit for that potential client out there, I want them to work with that person. Now, very rarely do I think that, right? Because I always lean into the deeper aspect of this, which is our job is not to convince them that you're better than other coaches. Our job is to convince yourself that you are the best investment that they could possibly make in you. Okay. So we're not here to convince anyone other than ourselves. We're not here to do anything other than build your own confidence around your own programs and around your own process, around your own capacity to help your clients um, create transformation, facilitate results, right? That is the most important piece. When we are like thinking at it from the outside, where it's like, I need to make this person think something and believe something and feel something, that's such a pressure angle to take here, right? Like there's just so much pressure generated there because what we're trying to do is we are trying to ultimately control another person and control the way they think and control their choices and their stage in their life and their decisions, right? But when we switch that over to us, okay, and I have so much more to say about this, but when we switch it over to us, where we're like, I believe in what I have to offer so freaking deeply that the other person choosing to go with someone else truly is more times than not, what I believe to be the wrong choice. What happens there is that you show up different for the sales process. You show up confident, you show empowered, you show like the whole conversation, your whole marketing, like even if you're not doing sales calls, even if you're just taking a different marketing angle, everything changes, right? Like you are coming from a place of like, I am the best choice that anyone can make versus how do I get other people to believe that and take the action with me versus someone else, which is going to be so much harder. It's always so much harder to try to control someone else. I don't know if you ever had a family member who's like a little difficult and they say things that maybe they shouldn't and they piss you off or whatever. And you're like, oh my God, I wish they would change. It's always so much easier to just be like, well, they're not going to change. So I'm going to change my perspective of it and I'm going to change how I show up to it. It's the same ideology here, right? So our job is not to convince other people to work with us. Our job is to convince ourselves. Is this resonating with you guys? Is this like, oh my God, this is such a big aha moment? Or are you kind of like rolling my eyes or rolling your eyes at me right now? Are you like, oh, really? Really? This is what you're going to say, Barbs? Let me know in the comment section if it is resonating with you. Let me know what you think. I kind of want to know where everyone is at. Okay, so with that said, now that we're switching over the power to us, which is how do I believe in myself? How do I believe that I'm the best investment that they could ever make? We also start shifting that thought itself, right? Like we don't want to start thinking like, how do I convince other people to hire me other people? Over me other over people to hire me over other people. What you want to do instead is you want to ask yourself, how do I make this person see the value in what I have to offer? Okay. And how do I help this person to get out of their own limitations and excuses and fears and hesitations? Okay. Do you see the difference there? It's not about twisting someone else's arm and being like, well, but I am the best coach. You shouldn't even hop in another discovery call because I'm like the best thing after fresh bread, after sliced bread, right? It's like, okay, cool. I know and I've convinced myself that I am the best possible business coach that any coach could ever hire. And I know that deep in my bones. Now, my job is not to convince you of that. My job is to help you see the value in what I have to offer and to help you get out of limitation, hesitation, fear, excuses, because those are the two things that are mostly keeping you from hiring me over someone else, right? If someone else does a better job at helping you see the value as to what working with them it's like, and helps that potential client get out of their own limitations, that other coach is probably going to get the sell. Is this making sense? Resonating? Yes, no, maybe so. Let's see. Stormy says, definitely, if you can't cook a chocolate cake, you can't teach someone else how to cook one. Exactly, right? Absolutely. I like this. I think when I started to really believe in myself, I started to step out of my comfort zone more because I knew I had something people needed, and it was wrong for me to keep it to myself. Absolutely. So that's also another perspective that I'm going to go into. So I'm really glad that you brought that up because I'm going into that next. Um, love. Okay, love it. I love that it's resonating with you guys. So our job is not to convince anyone. Okay, that is so disempowering to think that we have control over other people, to think that we are here to make choices for our potential clients. Not only is it disempowering, not only is it disempowering, but it's also very pressure provoking for you. It doesn't allow you to show up for your calls or your marketing or your visibility strategies or anything else that you're implementing in the business to get the client to your fullest capacity because you're focused on the wrong thing. It's also deviating you from the most important piece, which is doing the work to make sure that you consistently believe in yourself and doing the work to consistently believe in the fact that you're the best coach that anyone else can hire. Literally, someone not doing what needs to happen to let clients understand that you are the best investment that they could make is um I'm going to switch it around actually. Doing the work to help clients understand that you're the best investment that they can make and help them see the value in what you have to offer and help them get out of limitation. It's your number one responsibility as a business owner and as a coach, right? So we're completely like ripping apart anything that you thought that needed to happen. You thought that you needed to convince someone else. You thought that you needed to be better than another coach. Like, really, what you need to do instead is you need to focus on believing in yourself more than anyone else in the world does. Okay. Believing in your services, believing in your capacity to facilitate change and results. And then you don't need to convince no one ever, ever. That is never your job to convince anyone. Your job is to help them see the value in what you have to offer and help them get out of limitation, hesitation, fear, insecurity, and excuses. Okay. When you have done those two things, you can sleep comfortably, knowing that you've done everything that you can do, right? When you have done those two things, you can go to sleep knowing, right, that you showed up to your fullest capacity and that you didn't hold yourself back at allowing that other person to know that you were the best next step that they could have taken with you. Okay. Now, you can always follow up. You can always address any other hesitation that comes up. You can always, continue on that conversation if the client needs a little bit more time, right? But you never need to quote unquote convince someone else that you're better than someone else. Yeah. I also have this belief that, and this is a hard one to share because I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, I have had really horrible coaching experiences, right? Like, I have spent all of my savings and I still haven't even been able to get a client, or I paid for this really high level coaching experience and I got no coaching, or I hired a coach and then they blocked me and run away with my money. So, like, this is a little hard for me to share, but when it is properly done, right? Like, when we were talking about a good professional coach, I think sometimes that other person may need someone else that's not you, and that's okay, right? Now, very rarely do I believe this, but I also am not God. I am not all knowing. So, like, even though I may think that my potential client will benefit from working with me the most, that could not be the truth, right? Like, that client could benefit from working with someone else, and I just don't know it, right? I don't know if they're going to have a deeper connection or a deeper relationship, or if that other person has something that I don't have. Now, it's really hard for me to step into this, but I don't step it into it from the perspective of like, well, there's someone out there better than me. I step into it from the perspective of like, everything is happening for a reason, and I always have my client's best interest in mind. And if this is not what's in their best interest, then life, the universe, God, or whatever else is out there that can see all the moving pieces, they will know. That's not to say it's not a little frustrating when someone hires someone else over you, especially when you know that you have so much value to offer. But that's to say that you're just focused on doing your job. And if that person goes with someone else, you release it, you detach from it, you keep doing the work until you get that person that is meant to work with you in the most aligned and beautiful way, right? I also always try to think like, well, this happened for me, not to me. So if it ever happens that someone decides to hire someone over me, I'm always like, cool, this is happening for a reason. Maybe I was gonna have to have my team chase them over payment, or maybe it wasn't the right time, or whatever. Maybe another client that was at a different level was meant to work with me at this point. Okay. So is this resonating thus far? Tell me your input. Tell me what you're thinking. Okay. So that leads me to kind of like what Bree was saying, which is once you can stand behind what you do, and once you realize that your job is not to convince anyone, right? But your job is to just believe in your capacity so deeply and to be able to showcase the value of your services and be able to navigate and help people get out of their own limitations. What happens is now you have so much power from within that you're so much more willing to step out of your comfort zone. You're so much more willing to um, do more things in the business, to promote yourself more, to uh, let people know that you have something that's going to change their life. Like you literally, as a business owner, start operating from a different angle. So when that happens, you are ultimately and relatively quickly going to start seeing more results. You're ultimately and relatively very quickly are going to start getting more clients come to you, attract more clients, make more sales, right? So then what happens is you don't really have to worry as much if someone does decide to go with someone else, because you always have a stream of clients coming to you because you're always consistently showing up for your business and stepping out of your comfort zone, right? So the operations are working really, really effectively. I think a lot of times we get really attached to one client going with someone else when our business is struggling, right? When it's hard for us to book clients, when it's hard for us to make sales, when you're not hitting your income goals, when you're going through a really difficult point, it's very, very hard to not feel like we don't have to convince someone. Okay. But implementing the foundational concepts that I just shared with you today will help you take more action, will help you step more outside of your comfort zone, and it will help you realize that not doing so, it's actually taking away from people who really need what you have to offer. Okay. I'm going to go back to what I was saying before. I've hopped on so many calls where people have told me, like, I wish I would have invested in you versus X, Y, and Z. I've heard so many horror stories, and I've been doing this for a really long time. So it gets to a point where it's like, I know that playing small myself, not believing in myself, not showing up for my business at a higher level, is actually taking away from someone who may really need my support. And that's what focusing on convincing yourself that you're the best thing out there is the number one thing, and the number one most important thing that you could do, because you're actually taking away from the people that need you the most. And I know I've said this before, I've said this in the past, and I will continue to say it again. That is why confidence is one of the most foundational and one of the most important pieces of your business. Okay. I market to new coaches, but I work with really high level entrepreneurs, very well known people in this industry in the back end. And I'm telling you that even after six figures, multiple six figures, whatever stage like they're in, I'm telling you right now, they're struggling and they're working through the same things, right? Confidence and belief are the core foundations of success, and confidence and belief are the core foundations of scaling. A lot of you think, like, well, when I get through this, then I won't need support, or then I won't struggle with this, or then I won't have this thought. But the reality is that new level, it's either new level, same devil. So the same things come up again at a new level, or it's new level, new devil. So like new things start coming up. So we always have to do that internal work. That is the most important thing. That is the thing that's going to accelerate your growth and success more than ever. And if you're comparing yourself to other coaches and you're feeling less than because someone else hired someone else, or if you're feeling very like pressury at the need of having someone else, of having a potential client be interested in working with someone else or whatever. There's so many elements to that, right? Like, we need to get you to believe in yourself. We also need to get your business to be abundant and consistent, right? Like, if you know that every week I'm booking X amount of calls and every week I'm booking X amount of clients, then it's easier for you to detach from that and really focus on showcasing your value and helping people get out of limitation. But if you're struggling and it's hard and it's difficult and you feel like you're walking uphill, then it's going to be really hard to get you out of that mentality of I have to convince people to work with me, because you're going to be really attached to the idea of needing people to work with you, right? Nothing to be feel ashamed of. I feel like everyone who has ever owned a business has been there at some point or another, but it's something to definitely bring awareness to. All right, let's see. Bree says, yes, this makes sense. Okay, thank you. You guys know I love positive reinforcement. Okay, so I'm going to recap because I think this was a super, super important thing. And then I'm going to go into how do you actually help people see the value and how do you help them get out of limitation. Okay, I always got to leave you with the how. So, first and foremost, we don't need to convince anyone to work with us over anyone else. Okay, that's not our job. That's actually counterproductive. That's actually not going to help you. That's actually going to push people away. That's actually going to push sales away. So, your job is not to convince anyone to work with you over anyone else. Your job is to convince yourself, okay, that you are the best coach that anyone could possibly hire. Your job is to build your confidence to a level where you know that not showing up at your fullest capacity and not showing up at a high level of confidence is actually taking away from someone who really needs your services. Okay. Um, then the other thing is, because our job is not to convince anyone, our job is actually instead to help people see the value in what you have to offer and to help them get out of limitation, fear, hesitation, or excuses. If Coach Mary, and if there's a Mary here, I'm sorry. I'm not like picking on you on purpose. I just made up a name. If Coach Mary did a better job than me, if this person hopped in two discovery calls, okay, or if this person saw two launches from two different coaches, or if they saw two different sales posts from two different coaches, whichever coach, whichever coach did a better job at helping that person see the value on clicking or the value in taking that next step, and that other person help them get out of their own limited thinking and excuses, that person is so much more likely to go for Coach Mary than me. Okay, so that is our job here. The other thing is, start to also understand that it's okay to not be someone else's coach, right? Like, it's okay if one out of 30 people that come to you are like, you're not my person, I'm actually going to go for this person. Normal, it's fine. You have to keep your client's best interest at mind. And if they really think that if you've done everything you can to help them understand why you believe that you will help them change their life and their business or their health or their relationship or whatever type of coaching you do. If you've done everything you can to do that and they still feel like someone else is the right fit for them, that is okay. I think it's so important for us to come to this place of awareness and understanding that, number one, that happens to everyone. Okay, everyone. And number two, our client's best interest in mind. If that is truly what's going to help them and that is truly what they believe is going to be better for them, then who are we to control that? Who are we to control their actions and their thoughts and their beliefs and their decisions? No one, right? We're not God, we're not the universe, we're nothing in that sense. So at certain points, we have to come to a place of acceptance that every once in a while, someone will come to you and they will be like, you're cool and all, but I think this other person is the right fit. That's fine. Don't obsess over that. Don't let it like put you down. Don't let it stop your progress. Like, just be like, okay, cool. She's not meant for me. Let's keep going until the right person that comes and it's meant for me will sign up. This is so much easier done when your business is actually moving, when your business is actually consistently getting engagement, when your business is actually consistently getting leads, when your business is actually consistently getting sales goals, when you're always converting, when you're making money on a repetitive basis. Like, it's so much easier to do that. It's really hard to do this when your business is struggling because we get so attached to getting that next client. Like, that next client will either make or break us. Okay. And if you are at that stage where you're like, it's so hard for me to detach from the idea of someone saying no to me because I really need that person to help my business grow, message me. Okay. This is what I help people with. This is what I've helped so many of you in this group with, which is go from that place of zero, that place of struggling, that place of starting, to a place of not having to worry if someone says no because your business is actually thriving. So if you have been struggling with that, message me, let's have a conversation, and let's see if there's any way in which I can support you. But just know that that changes. You may not see it right now, but that changes. That place of desperation and um that place of desperation and that place of like, I really need this or else, it can change. It does change. I have seen it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. Some of you can even attest to that, right? Right here, where you're like, I promise you it changes. She said it would change, and it changed that, and it changes. So keep that in mind and understand that if you're feeling a little bit more pressure than other people, you're probably in that space, right? Of like, I still need a little bit of growth to feel comfort around people saying no or going with another coach. We just have to work through that. Yeah. Okay. I like to cultivate curiosity. All right, hold on. Let me expand this comment. I like to cultivate curiosity when I first meet a client. Oh, I like that. It fosters my ability to ask questions of my clients that help them understand their own feelings and how they impact their success. I then become a great listener at this point. This usually gets us into a conversation where I can show them how to set and achieve their goals. The rest just falls into place. Love that. Phenomenal saleswoman right here. Um, I really, really like that. That's perfect. I feel like you guys always lead these episodes for me, where it's like I'm about to talk about something and then you comment, and then that's the perfect segue into what I'm about to talk. So now that I recap what we talked about, let's go into how do you actually help people see the value of what you have to offer, um, and how to help them get out of limitation and excuses and all of the good things. So I'm gonna simplify this because I don't want this live stream to be like an hour. I'm gonna simplify this fairly quickly, and I'm gonna say it from the angle of you're hopping on the phone with someone that's interested. You can take this into any marketing method that you use. So if you don't use sales calls and you use DMs to close sales, take it to DMs. If you don't use DMs or sales calls and you use Facebook ads, take it to Facebook ads. Like, whatever method, marketing method you have to close sales and get clients, you can pretty much translate that into that. But I'm going to say it from the angle of we're taking sales calls because that's just what I do. So, how do you get people to see the value? I hate to see this, but it's like you don't. Like, you have to help them figure it out on their own, right? That this is valuable. And there's two things that I'm looking for. There's two things that I'm looking for when I'm talking to a potential client. Those two things are desires and struggles. You may have heard about this before, but I literally have a little notebook next to me and I am writing down as I'm having a fluid, fun, like very light conversation with them. I am always listening and I'm always trying to figure out what are their desires around their business and around their life and what are their struggles. Okay, why haven't you gotten here before? Why have you been struggling? What has been hard for you? Why do you think that working with another coach didn't work? Like, I don't play small here. In order to help people see the value in what you have to offer, you really have to understand what it is that they need and what it is that they struggle. So it's not like you're going to sit there and be like, and my program is the best because of X, Y, and Z. And then you're going to go through this script. And then from that script, based on their answer, you're going to tell them that that's just not how I operate. That's just not my style. I think scripts can actually end up screwing you over in the end. I know it's helpful for some people, but I know it's unhelpful for more. So it's really not about that. It's really about having a fluid conversation and pinpointing, why do you want this? What do you exactly want? Okay. And why haven't you gotten it? Why has it been hard? What are your stumbling blocks? Because what that's helping you see, it's helping you see why they actually need support and why they actually need your program. But most importantly, it's helping them figure it out on their own, right? Like it's helping them think. Like, well, I really want this, and this is why I really want it, and this is why I haven't gotten it. It's not you sitting there and telling them, like, well, you need a business coach because it's really hard to hold yourself accountable, or you need a business coach because although you're probably a great coach, you just don't have the business acumen to really understand how the online world works, right? Or you really need a business coach because, even though you've taken 100 webinars, like that's really going to do nothing if you have 100 million fears keeping you stuck from taking action and not following through with the things that you have to do. You know what I mean? It's not the same if I say that to you than if you say that to me. It's not the same if I pinpoint it to you than if you figure it out on your own. So, two things that you're looking for in any way that you're marketing and in any way that you're closing sales is what are their desires, what are their struggles. Okay, now you know this, now they know that. Okay, now right there, that's the beginning of helping them see the value. Afterwards, you're going to reiterate that throughout the call, using their own words, using their own struggles, and customizing that to them. I think what a lot of people do wrong is they grab a program or they grab an experience or they grab a group coaching um, product that they're selling or whatever, and they're like, this is the best because of X, Y, and Z. When the truth is, this is the best because this can help you specifically. This could help you with the specific things that you have. So much more powerful to help someone see the value when you actually know and when they actually know what the value is. That's the thing. It's like if we overgeneralize our programs and if we overgeneralize the work that we do and we just say the same thing to everyone, it's harder to see the value. The value is thin when the value is customized, when the value is unique to that individual person. So, like for someone joining a group coaching program that's going to help them lose weight, the value is going to be that they're finally going to have someone hold them accountable. Like that's the one thing that's like in their minds all the time is that they've been trying to do this alone and it's really really hard. But then for someone else, their value may be that they're going to have a community and they're going to feel heard and understood and related, right? Like and they felt really lonely through this path of weight loss. So two different people wanting the same result, joining the same program that has the same structure and the same modules and the same coaching and the same coach and everything. However, the value of that program differs from person to person. That's why picking out their desires and their struggles and help them figure that on their own is the number one way that you will help them see the value. And then you reiterating that through the conversation. Of course, only if what you have is actually going to provide them with that, right? If they want it, let's say, for example, the value of hiring a coach for them is that the coach is going to set up their Facebook ads for them. Okay. My program doesn't offer that, right? Like, I don't set up Facebook ads for you. So I'm not gonna, this is where some people are not going to be a good fit starts coming in. If that's what you value and that's what you think it's going to be helpful, then I'm going to guide you into the right direction. I'm going to connect you with my Facebook ad strategist or with my colleagues Facebook ad strategist because I don't do that as a coach, right? So as long as your program offers the value that they're wanting and the value that they're seeking, then you're good, right? Now, how do we help them get out of limitations? Asking questions, okay? I see the number one mistake that coaches do through their sales process, whether it's a sales call or a DM conversation or whatever they're choosing to do, is when someone says, I'll think about it, or when someone says, okay, we'll see, or when someone says, okay, I really want this, but okay, or when someone says like it's too expensive, like the number one mistake that I see is people being like, okay, cool, let me know. It is really hard to help people see things that they cannot see by for themselves, and it is really hard to take them from limitation, hesitation, fear, insecurity, excuses if you're not willing to navigate that conversation a little deeper. Now, some people call this handling objections. I just call it navigating your excuses. or navigating your limitations or helping you see things that you cannot see. Not from a pushy perspective. I literally, like, if someone has an excuse or an objection or whatever you want to call it, like, it's not to be pushy. It's, to me, it's not even to close them on the sale. Like, a lot of coaches will be like, well, you have to handle the objections so you get the sale in the call. Actually, when I see them have a lot of limitation, I sometimes don't even want to close them on the phone. I sometimes will be like, I want you to take some time to think about this. Like, I don't even want your money right now. Like, think about it, let me know. I'll follow up with you in 24 hours. So it's not to close the sale, it's to help them see things that they cannot see. And the only way to do this is for you to ask questions, for you to navigate things that other coaches are not willing to navigate, and for you to be able to help them see things that they cannot see. If someone says, I really want to do this, but I don't have the time. And you're like, okay, cool. Just let me know if you figure it out. You're not helping that person get out of limitation. So remember, there's two things that you have to do is you have to help them see the value. You have to help them get out of limitation. Okay. By stopping that conversation or by stopping that sales process whenever something comes up, you are not helping them rise to that next level. So you have to be willing to ask questions like, okay, I hear that you say that like, financially speaking, this is a hard investment, and it is. I'm not going to lie, coaching is a big investment. I don't sugarcoat this, but I wonder, is there anything else keeping you from taking that next step? You have to be willing to go deeper with your potential clients, because if you don't, someone else will. And when that other person does, they're going to hire that other person because that other person made them feel like, oh my God, I have so many limitations. And in order for me to get to my desires, I have to be able to move through that, right? So don't stop yourself from asking questions and inquiring things that will help your potential clients see things from a different perspective. Okay? Small, tiny, non pushy questions that shift that for them. Okay? So, example, I, I totally understand that you want to wait until Halloween passes. Okay? But we've hopped on the phone about 3 times now, and every time they're like, it feels like something else can come up. So, what I know to be true, what I know to be true is that when someone hires me, it's never a right time. Like, there's always something that's going to come up, there is always something that's going to feel like the better time. And then, as you can tell from our past conversations, is that when that passes, there's always something else that comes up. So I want you to do what feels best for you. And if you do want to talk after October, totally fine. I'm fine with that. But one of my number one jobs as your coach is going to be to help you see things that you may not. And this could very well be one of those patterns that is keeping you stuck, because look at how much time has passed. It's been about 5, 6 months since we first met. 5, 6 months, you could be already working with clients. Your business could already be at a different level. So I'm not here to tell you when is the best time for you to invest, but I'm here to help you see things that you may not. So what are your thoughts on this? How does this feel? Okay. So, not like, no need to push, no need to add pressure, no need to close them on the phone, right? Like, you just need to show up for them on that sales conversation the same way that you would show up as a coach. A really good coach will not let their clients limit themselves. A really good coach will not let their clients not see things that um, that the coach can see, right? Like, if I see my clients is revolving in an excuse or revolving in a pattern or creating habits that are not serving them in their success and in their business and in their growth, I'm going to tell them, even if it's a difficult conversation. And I'm going to do it in a very gentle, loving way. It's going to have a lot of finesse. However, I'm going to do it because that's what a coach is there for. And I want you to show up the same way to that sales conversation, the same exact way. Do not let clients fall into limitation when it comes to investing. You don't need to push anyone. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to, have this. extreme, immense amount of pressure around converting someone. You just have to be willing to help them see things that they may not see in their own, right? Most clients cannot see that they keep pushing it back a month to make the scary investment because they're letting fear get in the way, because they're thinking that it's not possible for them, or because there's an underlying thing keeping them from taking that next step. Now every once in a while they'll be like, no, actually I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but really, I just, October is just a good day for me. Okay, cool. We'll talk in October. But more times than not, people will be like, you know what? You're so right. You are so right. Like I hadn't even thought about it this way. I hadn't even seen this. I hadn't even caught myself doing this. So you have to be willing to do that as well. Bree says, I want to keep it real with my clients like this. Yeah, you have to. Well, you don't have to. I feel like that's pretty rough and blunt and generic, but like that's what we're coaches for, right? Like if we weren't here to help our clients get out of limitation from the day that we meet, then we're not, like, what are they hiring us for? You know, if they wanted someone to be like, it's okay, you're doing good, you're doing well, like they would just call up their best friend. I've talked about this before. If they wanted that, they would just call up their best friend, and their best friend would be like, it's okay, you're good, like just do it next month. Like that's not what coaching is for. Coaching is to break patterns, to reinvent yourself, to create new habits, to move forward more than you've ever had before, to move through your fear, doubt, and insecurity, to have someone hold the higher vision of yourself even when you can't see it yet. Okay. So just start showing up like that from day one, and you'll never have to convince someone else to hire you over other coaches, because people will just hire you over other coaches. Okay, how do you guys feel about this? Give me your input, give me your insight. Let me know if you have additional questions. Let me know if you want me to dive deeper into something. I hope this was helpful. I was really excited to have this conversation because I feel like it's something that not a lot of people talk about. And I feel like it's something that's going to be really helpful for so many of you. So if you're here live or watching the replay, give me your insight. If you are struggling, if you feel like your business is at that space where, okay, I get this, I get all of this, but I actually really do need the client, and I've been struggling to get the client, or I've been struggling to get consistent clients for God knows how long, and I'm not even gonna admit that publicly. Message me. I want to chat with you. I want to see where you're at. I want to see if I can help you. Um, or even if you're like, I have gotten the clients, but I still want that level of sustainability and security, and I definitely want to scale to that next level, message me as well. And let's chat about how I could support you. Again, zero pressure. Have an amazing rest of your week, guys. I will see you throughout the week. I will see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Put it in your calendar, set your alarms, join us live. Or if you watch the replays, do that as well. Have a great, great rest of your Monday. Thank you for being here, and I adore all of you. Bye.